to him.
Two minutes. Two minutes to go.
We're going straight.
Carl! Carl! Hey, little buddy girl, both of you, all of you, however many are, welcome back. It's like nothing's ever happened. I will not be taking questions. Here we are. It's only been 3 weeks. Welcome back to not Sea of Saturdays. That had to get the boot this week because I was unable to stream on Thursday. Look at that. Dan with 2 A's fixed the Shouty Outy machine, after a year of it being out of service, it's pulling clips again. Dan with 1A is actually not very happy with that because he loves the smooth jazz, but I'm kind of happy to have the clips running again. Also, I don't think with this one you can tell it to ignore the clips, just do the smooth jazz. I think you only get that if you shout out someone who doesn't have any clips on their account, which is still fine. There's probably some. Yeah, I don't know. Bot fixes for streamers. Theoretically, there could be good money in that, except streamers are also typically notoriously cheap. So, yeah, you probably won't actually be able to make any money at that, but that's okay. Streaming yourself, fixing someone else's streaming bot, that's where the money is. So, I've trademarked that. You have to pay me a small finder's fee when you end up going doing that stuff. Yeah, we do have the playoff beard going. Due to the current state of international relations, I did have to remove it at the end of the first round in order to ensure the smoothest possible transition through our own immigration border control on the way out. I did let it start growing as soon as we got on the flight, outbound though. So this is, well, a round plus 2 games of growth instead of 2 rounds plus. Also, it's looking really bad for the Avs right now to actually make it out of the third round. So the rest of this may be coming off shortly here anyway. They're already down 0-2, and now they're going to Vegas for 2. So I'm going to recommend nobody hold your breath for that long. I'm going to recommend that no matter what, as a matter of fact. Even if they turn around and they start winning again, still don't hold your breath for that long. That's from me as well. That one's not even trademarked. You can use that one for free. Who did they? I don't even remember who they played. I know they played Minnesota in the second round because those games aired starting between 1 and 2 a.m. for me in the UK region. So there was one, the first night or two we were there, where I was awake at 3 a.m. because that's how things go when you travel that far. So I watched a little bit of that game, and luckily they went 4-1 in that series. So that one's pretty good. They swept the first round. I don't even know. Who cares? So they were 8-1 going into the third round, but they've already kicked off 0-2 against Vegas. It's going to be a little ugly. Originally, I would have thought the Canes had it in the bag for taking it in the East, because they were 8-0 going into the third round, but they've already lost one badly to Montreal. I'm rooting for Montreal anyway, so I think they have their game 2 tonight. So it may end up being Montreal-Vegas, the 2 teams that I would not have thought would have advanced to the Cup. And, well, there we maybe go. But I'm not ready to prognosticate yet. We got to be down 3-0 before I really start to worry that maybe they might not pull off 4 straight. But, yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever. We'll see when we get there. I was not able to stream Thursday. I probably would have done this stream with the photo show and everything on Thursday. But oh my God, did I come back to a pit full of vipers at work. I knew it was going to be a thing when I left because we were in a phase 0 discovery and preparation for panic development. They didn't even have enough time to make a real name for it, so I made that one up and it seemed pretty appropriate. So yeah, they're going hard and fast. It's called the 60 to 75 day challenge. I may have briefly mentioned it in streaming prior to vacation, but realistically, my team was only going to get, because we have Monday off for the holiday, we were only going to get 29 actual days of development for this challenge. And I took the first 10 of them off, so I've only got 19 days on this 75 day challenge to actually contribute. Luckily, things on the development side are going pretty strongly. I actually, in just a day, I got the user interface that someone that they brought in to temporarily fill my role for those 2 weeks, and we're not going to say anything more than that. They built up a user interface that wasn't tied to anything. It was just a dumb UI, and you could click some buttons and it would go through some screens, but it didn't actually communicate with anything. So I got that entire communication layer built Wednesday into Thursday, and we started doing some testing on it, And then my regular partner, who's actually going to be out the last 2 weeks of this 6 week for us challenge, he's been building the actual interface with the AI service that we're building up out there. So I've got the user interface. He has man in the middle, and then there's the actual AI out on the other end. He got most of his work done, but he couldn't actually test it until he had some sort of UI in place to try to do the testing with, because the way that we have the security set up is you can't test from like the development environment into the QA environment, or QA to staging, or anything to production. So he was kind of stuck waiting for me to come back anyway. So luckily I got him moving. I've got a week and a half to get everything ironed out with him, and then he's gone for the last 2 weeks of the challenge, which means when things start to break, I need to get a good memory dump from him in this next week and a half, because I'm the only one who's going to be around to deal with it, and it makes me cry a little bit. Layered like a fine lasagna made of scary things. Challenge like a game. Well, yeah, sure. Really? Hey, Bardic, you've snuck in. Thank you for the
I made
resub.
it and heard
Welcome
something
in.
about crying. Don't cry, Jedi.
Oh, the real crying's going to start probably in 2 weeks, because then my partner will have been out for the first couple of days, and that's the moment things are going to start to break up on us. We do still have the... is that a train? I must have hit a train button. We still have the number one most important panic thing going on that we had started before that. So yeah, here we go. Here you get the rockin' jazz. Because Bardic, you've been failing in your streaming duties. So this is our shouty outy. Dan with 1A was able to demonstrate that it has been repaired finally. I like it doing clips. Dan doesn't. Dan with 1A. So we'll work on that. So anyway, the original number one panic drop everything we have to do this is still ongoing, but actually just a couple of days ago was the first time. No, this is going to be a thumbs down. The first time someone finally actually looked at the user interface that I'd worked on. And it turns out if you just start spam clicking all over the place, they found a weird scenario where you can cause it to generate your report that it makes twice. It does it correctly both times. And it does it in parallel, so it doesn't take any more time than normal. But your report listing at the end has 2 entries. And they share the same name because the names go off of timestamps, which I recommended that they not do, but here we are. So it's confusing, and they are freaking out about it. But my response to them is, well, if you want me to fix it, I can. But I now have 3 number one priorities, which means I have 3 stand-ups every single day now. 15, 30, and 60 minutes each. So I'm burning a quarter of my day just on stand-ups for everything. And then most of them tend to go a little long. And then we also have the follow-up meetings to discuss what came up in the stand-up. Tuesday, I have 6 hours of meetings already scheduled. So that's a ton of fun. So this is going terribly well. And all of this is because of the... it's not venture capital. It's the other word, the private equity firm that bought us out. They are a big one. They are so big that I am afraid to say their name on stream. You would automatically recognize it, and everyone's response would be, "Oh God, I feel so bad for you." But I don't want to say it because I don't want their AI coming after me and everything. But yeah, they bought us out, and I give myself about 18 months before my entire role gets laid off, sold off, whatever they're going to do. They're totally going to end up parting out this company and selling it in little tiny bits. There's a small chance I might catch that life raft and float off with another one, but this is the same stuff I went through with AT&T, where you get broken up a couple of times and eventually you run out of rope. So that's a ton of fun. Very excited about all of this. Just a few clicks short of filling in triplicate. Oh, I know, it would be. Is it because of windmills? Basically, yes. I love meetings about meetings. Yes, we literally have meetings about meetings. We have meetings about setting up the meetings, and then we have those meetings, and then we have the meetings afterward to talk about the prior meetings. I have had 3 meetings in a day that are all basically the same thing. And everyone in charge of setting up these meetings are people that I have never interacted with before at the company. They are all super corpo speak, and everything is awesome. And oh my god, the vision, there's visions coming everywhere. And when we talk about making up the minimally viable product, our MVP, we need some definition on what actually needs to be in there and what can be pushed to later. And you cannot get them. Well, you can get them to commit to something, and then in the next breath, they'll talk about taking something that's clearly another 6 months of development and wanting it up front. It is, everything about it is terrible. It's a really good thing that I really like the people in my immediate team core that I work with. Otherwise, yeah, I've already let a couple of people know. Miss Moon, welcome in. You are on super early for me this morning, but luckily I'm not sleeping late, and that has nothing to do with jet lag at this point. Those damn birds are up at 4:15 in the morning with the sun starting to come up, making noise. So luckily I'm up early enough to still catch the Miss Moon.
Yeah, English and maths. Oh, what the
Miss
hell?
Moon, you might have a
the
new
hell?
clip here finally. They fixed the shouty outy machine.
What have you
I
managed
have
to do
no,
there?
I'm not even touching my computer right now.
Yeah, this is
What going
a
on?
new clip. I'm so excited they got it
dear.
fixed. So
Oh, it's still
yeah,
going.
my work is probably headed right for the toilet. I got a button for
Oh,
toilet, don't I?
seriously?
Here it is. There you go. I think my work's gonna go bad, but I don't think it's gonna go bad in the next couple of days. Unlike Master Jedi's job, that's probably gonna jettison everybody kind of midsummer. So everything is bad. If you have a job for me outside of the U.S., I am looking to take it. Canada is actually easing up some of their restrictions, so we may start looking there. No one just like threw job offers at me in the UK, which was total BS, but okay, whatever, I suppose. I guess I didn't actually let most people know that I was coming, so maybe that's on me. Welcome in, Miss Master Jedi. Wow, you just went nuts with all the ats there. Didn't want to skip anybody. That is fair. Honor to allowed to use minimum viable product anymore. Minimum level. The other thing, they keep calling it. Normally we will use POC for proof of concept before we get to MVP. Some of them with the corpo are POV, and I go, that's point of view, right? What the hell? Proof of concept? I have no idea. Apparently they mean MVP, but I don't know how POV becomes the other way around. Everything about this is confusing and sad, and it makes me... Right? Proof of value? It makes as much sense as anything else. I'm literally willing to pitch out there. Someone said POC to them at one point, but they heard POV, so that's just what they've gone with ever since. And because they're higher up corpos, everyone's afraid to correct them, like me. So we just go with it. I personally, I think proof of concept makes as much sense as anything else here. Proof of value. Okay. Yeah, proof of life is probably close too. They're speaking to money people to make money. Yeah, and I guess for them, yeah, that's the other thing we run into, especially at my company. My company loves to rename things constantly throughout the development cycle, even after they've already started pitching externally what it should be. So we have one. I don't even know what it's actually called right now. It's gone through a bunch of different letters. It started out with a code name, and then it became COI, and then it had a new code name, and now it's DM. I think it's disclosure management, because you manage your disclosures. So at least that one makes some sense. But I think when they put it into the marketing pamphlets, they now have yet another new name for it. And that relates to the original Panic Project #1 that I'm on. We were calling it DM Export. It's been renamed to Q&A Expert, but Q&A does not stand for questions and answers. I do not know what it stands for, but I know that it's not questions and answers. But yeah, it's got its new name. So we've changed the text, but everywhere internally, we still refer to it as DM. Everything is terrible. And then you get the corpos mixed in, and they have their own set of language about stuff. And we spent an entire 60-minute stand-up, which means it's not a stand-up anymore, discovering that my team, the product management team, the AI team, and the corpo team were all using one word and everyone had completely different definitions for what it meant. I do not enjoy that part of my job right now. But as long as no, it had an ampersand in the middle, so it's not quality and assurance either. So I don't remember what they called it, but yeah, I am unhappy. Things changed pretty dramatically in those 2 weeks that I was gone, and I knew the stuff was coming, but they hit that snap over. Literally the first day that I was out, they went from phase 0 to phase 1 of the panic, and everything shifted. In the meantime, my company used to have a pretty healthy gender mix in the executive rank, but in the 1 week that I have been back, we have released 6 of our executives, 3 or 4 of them women, and replaced all of them with just men. So that has not gone unnoticed. They are also all having come from outside, totally not related to this investment firm that bought us out, but 0 internal promotions to any of these roles. So it's going to go bad. It's going to go really bad. A couple of us have estimated 18 to 20 months or 18 to 24 months. I think I'll be lucky if I get 18 out of it. So quirky and adorable. I'll go with quirky and asinine. That would fit. It is not a promising outlook. No, things went super. What had happened historically? Luckily, this is a just chatting stream, so I can BS for as long as I want until we raid into our good friend Dan Servo in another hour and a half. But I'm going to get to the pictures in a minute. The pictures are good. Let me get back in order. Let me do my sidebar first. Historically, with this company, I don't think it's ever been public. It's always been owned by private equity. But the cycle that it had gone through is that there's no such thing as a small private equity firm, but there are some that are smaller than the others. Most of them are smaller than the one that has purchased us now. But what they would do historically is they would buy the company, they would give it a good valuation across the board. They will have already identified a few places where they could make some improvements to revenue streams and things. And from their perspective, yeah, that's that. And so their plan was to do a 5-year investment where they would build up the value of the company and then flip it so that they could realize the advances in the valuation that they had managed to get put into the company. And it's worked great for all of them, apparently, to this point. So our most recent one, they hit the 5-year mark. They actually sold us for a nice, tidy profit. Congratulations to them. We don't see any of it, but that's whatever. But yeah, there you go. We'll just reference up here in the corner. But now this new one has come in, and they are absolutely not going to be a let's invest and build you up for 5 years and then sell you for a profit. This is definitely now let's hammer as hard and fast as we can to generate all of the crap that we can, to milk all of our customers for as much money as we can before they realize that what we're making is absolute shit. There's my first of 2 for the stream, because it is done way too fast without any actual consideration going into what the hell we're making in the first place. And then they are going to immediately start selling off parts the moment that coaster crests the hill. And yeah, I am not optimistic about what's going on, which is a damn shame too, because it was a great company to work for apparently until 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to write it out for as long as I can, but I'm not going to write it out quite as far as I did my last job that ended up going bankrupt. Kind of saw it coming for a long time, but was willing to live in just enough denial. Plus, the market had already started to sour, so it was easier just to watch it crash and burn than to move on. This one, I'm probably going to want to move on first. Quirky and Anarchy. There it is. Ding, ding. You have the winner. Congratulations. Let me give you a fanfare for that. Yeah, that was a Master Jedi Phantom pillow. She threw it all the way across. But none of your hands or anything shut. I think I have one photo with a Master Jedi phone in it with like 2 or maybe 3 fingers. So everyone watch out for that. I've done my best to go through and scrub to make sure that the rest of her photos have not made it into the albums, because she will kill me dead if I show her face. That's a her thing. Not going to question it. Yeah, that's fine. Now, there is a Miss Moon photo in here because I got to meet up with Miss Moon. So there's one of her. There are a couple of good photos of a bunch of us together, but unfortunately those have been edited out. But I did leave one in here. Go watch. Go. Actually, you know what? Here, I got a keyboard in front of me. Let's. We're gonna give her one more shout out there. Does
What the? You little?
Does it no longer? Oh, KDP. KDP broke it. The
Really?
I don't know. Streamlabs,
Oh,
Stream,
you know what? It's
Stream,
on.
whatever they are. They used to put the link in the thing over there, but yeah, they blew it. They totally ruined it. So click on her name in chat. Go follow Miss Moon. Miss Moon streams for us in the US. She actually streams in the mornings now. So for some people, it's a little easier to get to. It's a little harder. It was super convenient for me streaming through the middle of my workday, but my workday is a tire fire now. So actually streaming in the mornings is working out a little bit better. I can mostly pay attention because now it's on the weekends, so maybe I'll be asleep. But during the weekdays, it's when I'm in meeting mode, which is like 7 a.m. until noon now, minimum. Except for the one that I've got that starts at 1 p.m. and goes for, I think it's scheduled for 30 minutes, but it pretty routinely goes for 60 because it's the most recent freak out thing. There you go. Thank you, Bardic. Oh, look at that. Oh, I finally remembered to do it too. VIPs, I believe, can actually post links. Once upon a time, you would get a slap on the wrist. But I think also Streamlabs is the one that did that. And if it's offline for me, then it's not enforcing anything anymore. So there you go. Thank you. Go follow her. Go follow everybody. Just follow everybody. Oh, I can ban you. I could do that. Actually, I really could do that, but I'm not going to do that because I like the Bardic one. So is that enough yammering? I've yammered for almost a half an hour. That feels pretty good. I was scrambling to get my photo albums kind of pieced together. I got a lot of photos coming in from my family while I was gone that had nothing to do with the vacation. And, on my phone, it just drops them all into the photo bucket together. So I needed to build explicit albums to filter those out. And then I had to filter out the photos with PII. And I had to get out the photos that had, there were pictures taken like that. I had a bunch of those. There were a bunch with action streaks. There were a couple cool ones that I tried taken from our private cars to and from the airport at night with all the cool lights and everything, but we were moving so fast that everything kind of color blurred, which made some interesting art photos, but you couldn't tell what they are. So yeah, I had to do a whole bunch of photo editing. So I still have a very, very raw congregation. There's a ton of duplicates from slightly different angles. There are a bunch of pictures that I don't remember taking. I don't know why they got taken in the first place. They might have been accidental bumps. Master Jedi, actually, she tends to build her albums as she goes. She actually organizes photos. I take photos thinking, yeah, maybe in a year or two I'll look at a couple and then, whatever. Just in case I ever need them for legal purposes, I've got some. So I tend to ignore mine until a much later date. So she had hers done. She had attempted to send me a share my album through the Apple ecosystem. And somewhere along the way, my phone ended up registering it as, oh, I can download all 500 of your pictures right now. So I have got like over 1,000 pictures on my phone. And I think it time-stamped the ones that she brought in after mine. So yeah, I still have a lot of editing to go. So this is going to be a rough cut at stuff. But I didn't want to wait. Well, I don't want to wait till Thursday, because Thursday I start streaming while a lot of people are still at work. And I don't want to rob everybody of this grand opportunity to see what I've been doing. And I also kind of just don't want to wait until next Saturday, because I need to get moving on Octopath Traveler, because the Millennium Tales Adventures of Elliot comes out the middle of next month. And even if I'm not done with Octopath Traveler, it's getting put to the side and we're playing Elliot when it comes out, because I'm desperately in love with the demo that I played. It's the 2D HD Square Enix type game, except this one actually uses more of a real-time combat like a Zelda, rather than the turn-based stuff that they're typically known for in the JRPG. So we are going nuts on that one. Plan on playing at some point. For Adventures of Elliot, the Switch 2 version of that demo came out months and months and months ago. That was early last fall even. So yeah, I played it ages ago, but I think, yeah, they just released it for other platforms now. So everyone go get it and go play it. I've picked another game where Bardic will only be able to vaguely lurk rather than actively diving in. But you don't have to lurk, even if you've been or plan on going to the UK and Ireland, then you can still participate in this. So okay, let's move on. I got to do a thing here. I think I've put it on my game scene. I know we really do, which is a good thing. Also, Storage Hunter. I'm probably going to end up having to get that so that I can join you guys, because I played in a game with Dan on Friday night, and that's almost all he talked about was Storage Hunter. So I guess I'm going to have to participate. He did throw out that if you have to, I think you were having to take some time off because of a work thing, Bardic. When you come back, Dan expects to be some sort of billionaire in the game, so he invites you to purchase any tools you feel like because he is now going to be a fat cat. Something like that. You guys can work it out later. Not high art, but silly. Yeah, I sat in for a little while in the Discord stream, and it was a good game. And Outbound is the other one that I'm looking at. I may get that one for Switch, though, which means I won't be able to play it with anybody who doesn't also have it on Switch. They decided not to do cross-platform. That's BS, but no one asked me. So, welcome, everybody, to Portland International Airport. This is the traditional photo you have to take at the airport of you looking down at your feet at the god-awful, ugly carpet they have installed. This is actually the newer carpet. The prior one is even uglier, but at least they stuck with the ugly theme when they replaced it. I think they replaced this carpet I'm going to say 4 years ago. The original stuff was just, it was even more terrible, but it had that green, and then at least these have kind of nice looking arcs and vibrant colors. The other thing, it looked like it was just pixelated lines drawn. It was really weird, which is why everyone needed to do this photo. So here we are, getting ready for our trip. I got to figure out what are the controls I need to do to get this to work. I think I have to bring iPhoto up. I think I just need to get it in focus. I can move the window down below OBS so I can still see everything going on. There's chat up here. I also have chat over here. If you're on mobile, you got chat down there. Everyone should have access to chat. I'm hitting the button. Let's see if this works. Yes. All right. Now, for those on Dan's Discord, I've posted a few of these as we went along because this was the most important part of the trip. Flight eastbound was 9.5 hours. Direct flights from Portland to Heathrow was awesome. None of this hopping around between planes and taking 16 hours to fly 9.5. So this was a 787 dash, insert a number, I don't care, whatever it is. It's the kind that at the very butt of the plane, instead of 3 across, there's just 2 seats. Yeah, there's balloons on this one. And then this little half space where they couldn't put a seat. A 1138. It should be. That's its number now. I think it's actually an 800. But it might be a 900. But also, once again, it doesn't matter. So yeah, there's this little half seat space here. So I could put my bag under the non-existent seat space next to me. So I had all of the foot room right in front of me. And I got another picture later of once we're airborne of my configuration with that bag. So this is what it looks like. For those of you who've never been on an airplane, this is what it looks like when you look out the window. That is a wing. It is what makes you fly. That's a better picture of a wing. It shows up a little bit better. And that is an airport behind it. Like I said, sometimes I don't know why I've got so many of these pictures. A lot of them are going to be identical. Sometimes something would just strike me in the moment. This is a good example right here. I may have been fascinated by the red and white barricade, that the tiny in the corner. So I may have snapped this picture. I may have just liked that there was an airport in the background. I don't know. It's been 3 weeks. None of it makes sense to me anymore. Someday I'm going to go through this album and I'm actually going to kind of tailor it down.
I'm driving my truck.
No, it is an airplane, but I like your thought process on this. Stewardess, there's someone on the wing. That is the Columbia River. We're actually, I believe at this point we'd be over Washington State. Thanks to the prevailing winds, we actually took off to the west and then had to flip a U-ey to head back. Otherwise, you got to go the long way around, and that just takes forever. There's a slightly zoomed in version. Why did I do this? I do not know. Here we go. Now we're airborne. I can jam my foot all the way over in front of what should have been someone else's foot space. And now I've got the bag propped up right there. That was an intake filter, very low airflow, so I didn't have to worry about it like blowing hot air out or trying to suck papers out of my bag or anything. So totally safe for everybody. I got to spend the entire flight with my bag prepped, ready for me to go. All of my trinkets and toys and fidget spinners and whatever I needed. And then this is us flying. I'm probably going to have a whole bunch of these pictures. I hope you like clouds, because there's going to be a bunch of cloud pictures coming up. Oh, cloud pictures are on the way back. That's it. Boom. 9.5 hours later. Welcome to the border of the UK. You land on this tiny little slice just outside of Heathrow Terminal 5. That's international waters, but they're dry, so you can land there. And huzzah, we have arrived at the border. This is pretty much, yeah, that's the way it feels on the plane. The flight from here to either Sydney or Auckland, they're actually very close in terms of time, but they're going the opposite direction. From either San Francisco or LA, those are closer to a 12-hour flight. This one's only a 10-hour flight, and my ass bone took this flight way better than either any of those older flights that we had taken down under. So congrats. This was also on British Airways, so I think that makes everything more comfortable and a little more elegant. And actually, I'm going to give that some legitimate credit for their seats being a little bit better. 8 hours and 55 minutes. Fine, whatever. On the books, it was 9.5 hours. Our pilot claimed that he found a shortcut. I guess it's a mini wormhole. And so, yes, it was only 8 hours and 55 minutes. So that makes it even better. LAX to Singapore, I believe. Once upon a time, that was supposed to be the longest flight you could take anywhere. And I had one of my office mate at AT&T back in Denver. He had to take that flight a couple of times. And he said it kind of made him want to die. So, yeah. Yes, now that Master Jedi is here, I can be corrected every time I lie. So get ready for that. It's coming. So we have cleared customs. Actually, clearing customs almost literally was that easy. You put your passport on the little scanner. I'd already filled out the e-immigration app a few days beforehand, so they had all of my info. There was a line that you could stand in if you had things to declare. I decided, no, honestly, I've never really been 100% certain on exactly what the hell that means anyway, so I figured, no, I'm not going to declare anything, screw it. So you walk the other way, and there's no line, there's nothing, there's just doors out, and goodbye, everybody, have a fun time here in the UK. So yeah, that was awesome. It does not work that conveniently coming back to the US. It didn't work quite that conveniently in Ireland, but it was actually pretty close. It got weirdly complicated coming back from Ireland to Terminal 5 at Heathrow and just catching a connecting flight outbound. I went through all of the de-immigration in Ireland, but then we had to do it all over again in the UK, but still the line was fast. It was still way better than the US every time through. So, welcome. This is Heathrow. Boom! This is the next morning. Yeah, apparently, at that point, yes, at that point, we had been up for, 16 hours of daylight, and it just, no, we went overnight. It was dark the entire flight over, and then it was light the entire flight back. So we left at I'm going to round it to about 5:30 p.m., and then we got there, actually, you know what, we did get there. We got there kind of early in the morning. So this may have been the same day. In fact, this says it was taken May 3rd at 2:32, which should have been local time. We left May 2nd at 7 p.m. So yeah, actually we landed, we went to the hotel, we threw our stuff in the room. There's a chance that we may have rested our eyes for about 30 minutes. I wouldn't rule that out, but it was a long time ago and it was a little bleary-eyed anyway. So in any event, we ended up over here. Yes, this was definitely the same day because we haven't gotten to dinner yet. Boy, trying to remember all of this. We did a lot in 2 weeks. I am so tired. My back hurt so bad by the time we got to the end of these 2 weeks because we never stopped. So here's an almost identical picture. Boop, boop. That light post moves, but the eye almost doesn't. If I put these side by side, you could do one of those 3D. You could make a ViewMaster out of it. Get 3D imaging. I'm lying. Don't listen to me. So we're all over the River Thames. We did. We walked 75 miles. Luckily, I knew something like that was coming. So instead of wearing my comfy slip-on shoes that I could pop off real easy without being too gross on the flight, and then just lounging around for those 2 weeks, I wore my hiking boots the entire way. Sucks ass on the plane, but it was a godsend once we actually started walking and walking and walking and walking. And now wearing my slip-ons feels weird because they aren't grabbing onto my foot and supporting quite as well, but that's a me problem. You don't need to worry about that. So here's where we went for our first night for dinner, down on Gabriel's Wharf. It's near it's in between the eye. We had a hotel on the South Bank, which was, I don't know, up or down river. I don't know which way the river flowed, actually. It was sideways river from where the eye and Big Ben and all of that good stuff was. So Gabriel's Wharf was in between. So there's more of Gabriel's Wharf. We ate where you see all of the little yellow umbrellas right there. And now we're done eating. I didn't take a picture of it. There will be pictures of food coming. Don't you worry about that. But at this point, we'd been up for 107 hours since early Saturday morning. And it's now UK time. It's Sunday getting toward evening. And I think I may have gotten about 30 minutes of sleep on the flight. Master Jedi got about 10 minutes worth. So yeah, we were a little funky. I don't know. I think this was some sort of, curio shop on the waterfront there. I don't know what they sold that was an original Stormtrooper, but by God, they did it. So I took its picture because, it's Star Wars stuff. Got to take pictures. Hey kids, Parliament, Big Ben. Also, we were going to get a ride on one of these river cruises, but the schedule online and the schedule in reality screwed us over, so we didn't get to take it, but that's okay. We walked up and down this waterfront a lot, and we actually took some tour bus along the waterfront, so the only thing we missed out was actually just sitting on a boat. We got all of the sights out of the deal. Also, they got cranes everywhere in downtown London right now. They're building. So there's another picture of it, slightly different, but not really. We're now near the base of the eye. Now we're at the base of the eye. Get ready for some pictures of the eye here. Oh, okay, we'll get more of them later. We're walking on bridge. Hey, we're walking. Actually, we're probably riding the bus right here. I think we're on the bus. Yes, we are on the bus. This. I want to say that this is the hop on, hop off bus. But if that's true, then this is the next day already. Yes, this says that it's May 4th at 11 a.m. Part of the tour package that we bought. Also, welcome to Costco. Their travel package was amazing. We paid money for this package, but we actually got some real value out of it. Part of the deal was you got a $400 credit towards sightseeing packages in London. And technically, I think if we'd had any left over, the tour group in Dublin was the same company. We probably could have used anything left over there, but instead we bought that one separate. We'll get there. So this is the hop on, hop off tour bus. Apparently at 11 a.m., no tourists were up and wanting to do this yet. So we had the bus to ourselves. We caught it right there near the eye and passed a couple of things. So that's my eye. And we have the bus all to ourselves. Feet tours is how OnlyFans accounts start. Well, so we're going to start on a bus tour. But yep, we're getting to the foot tours. We are getting there. I don't think I've got feet pics here. If I've got feet pics, then everyone needs to send me money. Just remember that for later. And that's taking a picture. If I flip the camera around to the forward camera, that's what it looks like up at the front of the bus. Note that the dude is sitting on the wrong side like a mail truck. It's weird. That's the only time I'll make that stupid. I get that is a freebie dad joke, just so everyone knows. This is my attempt to take a picture of the Shard, the fun conical building that is, thanks to the shutter time, exactly behind that pole right now. So it's obscured just a little bit, but that's okay. There's more pictures of that one coming too. There's the Gherkin. Any building named after a pickle is number one in my heart, so I got a picture of that. We took the entire hop-on, hop-off tour route. We did the same thing in Dublin, actually. We ran the entire route just so we could see everything that there was to see. In Dublin, we made sure to get the one that had the live Yammer host, because they can be funnier. This one, I think we just settled for the little recordings. So we drove around a whole bunch, got to look at everything, and then decided what we wanted to go back and see on the foot tour. So now we're on the other side of the river from the eye. Got so many pictures of this stupid carousel, Ferris wheel? Ferris wheel? Yeah, carousel's got the horses that go around. There was a carousel over there. You might even be able to see it on the left-hand edge of that picture there. This is back on the bus. I was like, what am I taking a picture of? Who knows? Oh, I know. Right next to the tree, that is the new Scotland Yard. So I got a picture of Scotland Yard. There should be a better picture. Technically, it's a better picture, but thanks to the reflection on the glass, that sucks too. Like I said, I got to go through these pictures, and I gotta crisp some up. I got to do some zooms, like in this one. There it says New Scotland Yard right above that awning there. This is so bright. Actually, ooh, weird. It shows up way better for me in the Photos app, which you can't see, than it does up here. It's because in the Photos app, it's doing HDR. It loses the HDR when it goes through OBS. Okay, that's something I got to keep in mind. I got to see if I can get the full HDR to come through. The colors are much more vibrant, for real. Everyone just come to my house and you can look at, or I'll come to you and I'll bring my phone and you can look at it there. So anyway, we passed Scotland Yard. There's Abraham Lincoln. He's just hanging out. Someone still respects. Whatever. Then off to the palace. You're welcome to, Miss Moon. You can probably figure out where I live. Actually, you do know where I live. I had to stay far away so I wouldn't end up in jail. Yeah. We have so many kettles here. You, as an English person, you would be proud of how many kettles we have in this house. So yeah, we went here. Look, there's guards. We missed the changing of the guards. Oh well, what are you going to do? They got a big statue out front. Got some gold up top. They got a ton of tourists all hanging out, checking things out. Yeah. You're coming here too, aren't you? Like in September, Bardic? You coming to Rose City Comic Con? Yeah, we'll have a photo night. We'll just all go to Dan's place. How are these two different? Almost not. I got real close to the gate. No one shot me at this point, so I figure we're doing pretty good. Hey, look, it's me. Proof of life. There you go. I got it. Everyone come over. I'll come to... Yeah, it's because some of you... Well, okay, Nico's not here, so I can probably trust most of you. Nico had his opportunity. He didn't come. We met at a Wendy's instead. And Master Jedi was still pre-Master, so she couldn't come. So Nico lost out entirely. Miss Moon has met Master Jedi. This is across from the palace area there. That's the park that you can like freely get into. You just can't go through these gates to get into this park. You have to walk way around the edge. There's probably a rule that explains why. I don't know what it is, but we did not go into that park because they made it too hard. There's some horses. There's a ton of horse poop too. They crapped all up and down this lane. It was so gross. Hyde Park. You got all the good things right here. So that's why I took it. That's why I took a picture of this. This one, at least I understand why I took a picture. I think we're on to... Is this Piccadilly? It could be Trafalgar. I wouldn't know the difference between them. Yeah, this one's Trafalgar. Piccadilly has the really grotesque LCD screens on it. So this is Trafalgar. There's a great big lion. Also, you will note they have had to put up signs telling the dumbasses of the world, please don't crawl on the lions. They were doing some sort of they had a PA. They were doing an event just around the corner. That's why they had this tape up. We came back just an hour or so later in the day and all the tape was gone. So the tape was temporary. That don't be a jerk ass climbing on the statuary though. That's a permanent sign. Monsters. You know that's for the Americans coming by in the group. Hey, Soft Taco, welcome. No, I've got no hat today. No, I'm trying to remember how to work everything here on stream, so I don't have the mental capacity to also wear a hat at the same time. This does remind me, though, which honestly it doesn't, but Stream of Consciousness brought it up. I'm afraid Coffee Monkey is taking a break today, but I do have Symposium Cafe in downtown Tigard has provided me with a little hydration today. No, it's like playing Yahtzee with the squirrels. You are not allowed to mount to the lions. At least not at this. Actually, this is just a statue. This one doesn't have a fountain with it. But nope, Darth Mug gets his workout during the week. He's usually on break on the weekends because when we do make coffee, it's first thing in the morning and it's gone by lunchtime. Today we did a bunch of errands. We went to the farmer's market for the first time in so long. They close October, I think, our local farmer's market. They reopened the morning that we headed for the flight for this trip. So today was the first time we've had an opportunity to get back there. Ever gone fishing for chipmunks with a fishing line tied to a peanut? No, I have not. But we have a cabin in the high country in Colorado that is just swarmed with chipmunks. So we have had a lot of other chipmunk negotiations. None of them fishing. Hey, there's Canada. They have a big old consulate building right there off Trafalgar Square. I tried to get them to admit me as a resident, but I couldn't even figure out which door was the front door because they have the Canadian flags go all the way around the building just to make sure you understand that the building is Canada. Rafe Fiennes, he was here somewhere. That may be a picture of him right below the signage there. I'm not really positive. He was really standoffish, didn't want to talk to me, but he was there. Got to have a picture of a funny colored TARDIS. I mean, you're there, you got to take at least one photo. This may actually be the only one. Now we've made it to Piccadilly with all of the horrible Times Square photo or Times Square signage is up and everything. It's not. I don't think it's that one right below the sign. I think it's just off to the side of the shot. The Lindt store. We spent a lot of time in the Lindt store. You've made actual phone calls from the red TARDISes. I like TARDI. We're going to go with TARDI. It probably should be TARDISes though. Because if you cut off the S, then you've lost space. That's probably not a good thing. But would it be TARDISes or would it be TARDISi? TARDISize. Who cares? That is just a picture. That might have been because that might have been one of the first opportunities I had to get a good picture of a black cab. And it turned out to be not a good picture of one. So there was that. There was a Mario Galaxy poster up. This was not a movie theater. I don't know where the nearest movie theater is. This was actually the Poetry Pharmacy, something Master Jedi has ordered from in the past. You get the little pill bottles with these little pills, but instead of being filled with drugs, they're filled with little scrolls with poems on them. They're very adorable. So this was they have two locations. This was one of them. It has been on her semi-bucket list to actually get to one of these. I think this was not far off of Piccadilly, so that's why we went here. They apparently share the building with a Lush, and I guess Lush has a cross-promotion with Mario Galaxy because, of course, Nintendo does that. Hey kids, Parliament, Big Ben. We've made it back. We took a regular double-decker bus back from Piccadilly to here because that was easier to do than grabbing a hop-on, hop-off. Probably. I don't know. Could have been the other way around. It's a long time ago now. So we took the bus. This was as close as we could get. So this, we were going to try to get to the river cruise, which was part of the bus pass. You got the one river cruise. And I think the way they worded it, we could actually take the river cruise both directions and end where we started. It said the next cruise was at 5. We got there at 4:45, give or take. I don't know, what is that? Yeah, that looks like 4:50 on Ben up there. So maybe it wasn't 5 o'clock. Whenever it was, we got there and the dude said, "Oh yeah, the next one isn't for another hour." And we didn't want to stand there and wait an hour just to take the river cruise, so we ended up bailing on it. Yeah, there's a... Oh, that's Westminster Abbey? Yeah, that's the Abbey back there. There's a lot between here and there. It's hard to see anything. So there's another picture that way. I cut off the top because I'm a monster. I cut up even more of the top here. This is me learning the various zoom levels on my phone, and I get a little bit of fisheye action here. So that part was actually slightly... I was at least aware that it was going to do the slight fisheye thing. So here I turned it vertical, still cut things off. Oh, I'm so terrible. That's why Master Jedi likes to edit her photos as she goes, so she can actually make good-looking photos. I don't care about good-looking photos. So, yeah, stand by. We got more pictures of the eye coming.
That was mine.
Some of these... Okay, I'm getting protests from over here. Some of these are going to be Master Jedi's photos that she sent me at the moment. Those will have been mixed in. The let me share my album with you that somehow accidentally between the two of us turned into me getting a 500 photo dump. Those all got added after my list. So those I know are not properly represented in here, fortunately. But some of these are going to be in between. She says that one is hers. Oh yeah, that one actually says from Heidi at the top.
Yeah.
Damn it, it doxed you. Sorry. Oh, nope. Oh God. Now I've hammered the button too much. We finished with the flowers. Yeah, this was just off the eye. This was us going to go grab dinner. And then right next to where we grabbed dinner, I didn't take a picture of dinner yet. We haven't gotten to food pictures yet. Those will be coming. They built a little skate park here just because they could. It was just like EA Skate, except it was Skate 50 instead of Skate 3. Uber has boats. Who knew? No, we did not ride it was like $45 a person to ride the eye. And we decided we weren't made of that kind of money. This is our hotel smorgasbord breakfast. Everything you could want for full English was on their buffet, but then they had some extra stuff mixed in there too. So this was my very delicate portion in the morning. Their granola served over a little bit of yogurt up there was really good. This is apparently how the British now see Shakespeare, and I gotta say, it's an improvement. I don't know what's casting the green bar. That's a reflection, so that's not part of the painting, just so everyone knows. They did not call it muesli. I wish they did. The best muesli I've ever had was in Australia, Melbourne specifically. Also on the cruise, the boat itself had really good muesli when we were on that cruise. We should definitely do the New Zealand-Australia cruise again someday. We called that Baby Tank because it was fun. That's at the Guards Museum. There's more horses. We were on our way to catching the tour bus out to Stonehenge here. And we got a cab driver who was the one and only dick we met the entire trip we were out. He was a super jerk. Also, we got stuck behind these really slow horses. And so here we are, stuck behind the horses. They finally turned here so that we could get going. This driver decided he was done driving us, came up about 2 blocks short of where the bus pickup was. And he wasn't going to drive us any closer, and we couldn't really figure out why. My best guess is that for some reason, he thought we needed to be dropped off on the other side of the street. And to do that, he was going to have to drive in some great big circle around to come back down the other side. And I think that's just me struggling to try to rationalize why he was just being a dick to us. So, in any event, we got out of the cab, and then we had to gently hustle the next few blocks in order to catch the bus on time. They said we're leaving at, the timestamp on this was 8:16. We needed to be there at 8:15. They said be here at 8:15 because we're leaving at 8:30 with or without you. So at 8:16, we're still stuck behind horses. He ended up dropping us off at about 8. I'm going to round it to 8:22. And then we hustled those 2 blocks and got there at about 8:26. So we beat the cutoff, but we were the last people. I think we were the last people to get on that bus. We were either the last, or there was one more couple that might have got on after us. Or they may have been on first but had to get off for something and got back on afterward. Luckily, because we had this big tour credit, we used it to get the upgraded premium tour, which meant we had a reserved seat in the second row of the bus, so we didn't have to fight our way to the back. We were proper posh people for this tour. It was really nice. Like I said, we paid way more money than we normally would have, but this was also Master Jedi's graduation gift. Only took us 2.5 years after her graduation to finally get her gift. So we blew the money. We got the grand package. It was awesome. So here we are on the bus. The bus, yeah, there we go. 7:27. We made it to the bus at 7:26. I was able to take this picture at 7:27. If you were non-English speaking and you wanted to hear some of the tour stuff, they had headphones, and so you could get the international translations going on here. We speak Americanish, which is pretty close to English, so we were able to get the gist of most of this without having to use the headphones. So here we are in the second row, getting ready to leave London. I don't know what was... Oh, actually, I do know what was in that little blue bag. Because we were premium guests, we received a little packed lunch for the tour. There were a total of 8 premium people in the first 2 rows of the bus. We all got little packed lunches, and so did the driver. So that's the driver's lunch. And we are hitting the highway. And we're on the highway. And boom, we're at Stonehenge. It felt like it took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get out there, but apparently it didn't. It was just one quick snap away. I will point out that we received these from the bus driver as part of the tour to get us admission. At no point was my wrist ever inspected by anybody out there at Stonehenge. So if you are a jerk that wants to steal admission to Stonehenge, apparently it's real easy to do. They are more than happy to milk you for money for a bunch of other things while you're there, but apparently catching the little mini bus out to the rocks itself is easy enough to do. And if you don't mind walking the mile, I think it's a mile from the guest center here, then I don't think at any point did anybody ever question anything about it. So good for them. Why would he take a picture of the bus? I have a reason for this one. I remember this one. Golden Tours ran a lot of buses. So he said, yeah, when it's time to come back, keep in mind, there are a ton of tour buses out here, and our tour company has a bunch. Make sure you get on this bus. So I took a picture, so I had both his license plate and in the little circle up there high on the fender, his bus number was number 23. So he said, make sure you remember we're bus 23. So I took a picture because I was guaranteed to forget by the time we were done, because I forget everything. That's a picture of us taking lunch. The driver got a blue bag. We got white bags. Is there any difference between them? I don't know, because he didn't share lunch with us. Ours were really good, though. Interestingly enough, they were actually vegetarian meals. So Master Jedi was set. I was fine. Anybody else, if they had a problem, kept it to themselves. There were plenty of meat opportunities if you wanted, including at the snack hatch back there. Oh, I got a better picture of the snack hatch in a little bit. I just love that they named it that. So we are at the visitor center. They built some representative grass huts of what the original dwellers during the construction and usage of Stonehenge might have lived in, based on the stone ruin foundations that they have found. Very adorable. There's a close-up of the snack hatch. The snack hatch was not open, but just off to the right there was a full-on cafeteria. We didn't need it because we had lunches provided. From the guest center, you can't just drive out to the rocks anymore. A lot of the people we visited with there, when they were kids and they came out here, they would just like open the bus doors right alongside, and the kids could jump out and just run around through the middle of the rocks and everything, kind of like you would normally have expected, especially like in the 70s and the 80s when no one cared about anything. Now, the big parking area here is a mile and a half out, and there is a walking lane that you can take if you want to walk all the way out. But as long as, well, in theory, as long as you have got the wristband, or apparently they don't care about the wristband, then you can ride the little shuttle bus out. At this point, we'd already walked. This was our third day in. We were walking 5 to 8 miles a day. So at this point, we decided, you know what, we're okay. We're okay with taking the little gold bus. It's adorable. Let's do it. There's a lot of this. The yellow stuff's all rapeseed, right? Yeah. So there's rapeseed everywhere across England and Scotland when we get to that one. So I took a picture of it. It's pretty, super yellow. This still just before we got on the bus. Apparently this stone was sick that day, so they put it on a roller plinth. I'm gonna assume that this is a pretend stone, and they said, we figured this is probably how they got them here. Despite all the conspiracy theories that insist that it's aliens or dinosaurs or whatever the hell, no human could ever have done this in the past, kind of BS. They figured, yeah, they probably just put them on rollers like this. Why did they go so far away to quarry those stones? Well, probably because it was important to them. And then they did it this way, so deal with it. There's a military plane flying overhead. I just thought it was cool, so I took a picture. Obviously, alien dinosaur robot overlords. That is the best phrase ever. In fact, I'm going to clip that one so that I can remember it for later. I'm going to use that one. And forced the humans to do it. They damn well better have. Here's a close-up on one of the little huts. The huts are really cute. It's almost full-on yurt. I could go camping in one of these for a weekend, and then I get tired of it. I wanted to take a picture of this doorway, and some person jumped in front of me and decided to go in while I was taking the picture. So congratulations. I got a picture of your butt. Everyone's seen it now. Hope you're happy. Stonehenge. That's their bus. I gotta lean in because, yeah, the English Heritage Society group. It's their national park system, basically. So they run all of this. We left them a bunch of donations, including the portion of our tour that goes to them. So good on them for that. This is us riding the bus. This is the first opportunity you have to see the rocks in the distance. The tree line is sitting behind it, so you probably can't really see them in this photo. So don't worry about straining your eyes. I got so many pictures of these rocks. It's gonna make you sick. There is a premium package you can buy that was sold out before we even started looking, that apparently puts you on a van instead of a tour bus, and they will park you out that little road off to the side. That's how you used to get out here as just a generic tourist, when you could just drive right up to the damn things. So now if you are super premium, they'll park you over there and then you have to walk the rest of the way. So it doesn't really get you anything but a little bit less walking. And if you're willing to take the little tour shuttle bus, it's actually more walking to take the premium package. I don't know what the hell that's about. So this is us there. Now you can make out the actual henge a little bit better on the hilltop as you're walking out. Nice big, this is purely walking lane by this point. There's no vehicles allowed. There is an ice cream truck parked on the left side of the picture. You can just see the top of it. It is actually parked on there's a fence like this one on the other side of the walking path. The ice cream truck is parked on the other side of that fence, selling ice cream over the fence so that it's not parked on the walking lane. Good for them. So we get a little bit closer. Now the way the henge is now built, they have this big circular path built around, And when you get about 80% of the way around, then it cuts in and walks you right up alongside the stones and then cuts back out. So we are going to walk the long way around the path before cutting in. The way that we were reading the descriptions ahead of time, it sounded like, where once upon a time school kids got to run through the rocks. Now, this was going to be as close as you could get to it anymore. And we thought, well, that is super disappointing, but still, it's closer than looking at it on the internet from Portland. So, whatever. This was the one of two big outside of London things that we were going to do. So screw it, we're going. Luckily, we discovered once we got here that that's not actually accurate. You can't touch the stones, but you get nice and close to them. But we'll save that for the end of the pictures because that's how we roll. So, in fact, as you start your walk around, you can see where the path ends up looping back around and gets much closer to the stones. It's actually closer than it looks on that shot there. I think at this point it comes up over a little hillside after it's moved out a little bit farther. So there I got a nice zoom. Look at that. There's rocks. They're all over the place. Nice and wavy from all of the burial mounds that lead their way into it. We get waves. We get plinths. This is a line indicating... I think I got a better picture of the text on the line. This is the line when the sun comes up in spring. I'm going to say this is the spring side. Sun up is here. And then on the fall side, exactly 180 degrees opposite, they've got another one built back for the fall sunset. Or autumn. There, I guess it would be the autumn sunset. Yeah, there we go. Midsummer sunrise. Okay, so it's not spring, it's midsummer. If I could remember anything, I'd probably be able to remember a thing. What were we talking about? So this is the midsummer sunrise side. Kenomi! Oh, God, I'm so loud. I just echoed in my own ears. Welcome in, Kenomi and Raiders. I'm on a tour of the UK right now. Congratulations. Welcome in. You were just in time for Stonehenge. Look at that. More free feet pics. I'm just previewing my upcoming Only Feats page. That might be Master Jedi's foot. I'm not 100% certain. It probably is. I think that, and then one hand holding a phone is probably all you're going to get out of this deal. I do not know who that is. That is not Master Jedi. That is a really big rock. It had a name. It had some sort of importance. I might have taken a picture of the little placard that went with it. I might not have. We'll see in a moment. No, but at least that woman is kind enough to get out of the way. Nope, I didn't take a picture. If you've ever been there, you might know what that rock is for. I don't know. Whatever. The Bardic one is being my faux mod today. Thank you, Bardic one. Actually, let me go. I'm going to take a detour. Everyone just sit and wait. Just pretend that I'm not doing this. What is this? Streamlabs. Streamlabs is the one. Streamlabs is the one that their bot just gets really pissy for. Okay, you know what? I'm not fixing that now. It wants me to log in all over again, and my password manager needs me also to log in again because I haven't used this computer in 3 weeks. So screw that. The Bardic one is Stream Elements, Streamlabs. I've literally
like endless
already
amount
forgotten.
of shenanigans. That bald man.
You got one for the raid and then one for the first conversation. And Stitch, thank you for the resub. It's a resub, baby. Do I have a button? I don't have a button for resub, baby. I'll just give you that one. Thank you and welcome back in, everybody. Sort of here is all I could ever ask for. I've got 100 more pictures of a bunch of rocks out in the field, so you feel free. Take your time, Kenomi. Raid and run if you need. It's ugly o'clock there, so you feel free. We are steadily... It may be hard to tell. I'd have to play these back at high speed. That's an interesting notion. If I stitch these all together and then animate them just right, it would look like you're doing a bullet time circle around Stonehenge. I should totally do that. Okay, this is a fair point, Kenomi. I brought this up earlier. Master Jedi tried to send me a copy, just a reference to her album, and then my phone one way or another interpreted it as, oh, I would love to download all 500 of her photos as well. So I may have over 100 pictures in total of these rocks, but I think I've probably only got 30 or 40 of them built into this album that I'm showcasing here. So, hey, look, that's me. I had to prove that I was there. So that's me with a picture of some rocks. HDR is doing me dirty on stream right now. Oh God. Oh my God. I'm looking on my monitor machine. It's even worse over there than it is here on OBS for me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work to get this fixed up. You can barely even tell that there are clouds in the sky, and they should be nice and rippled. Oh, this is a travesty. I am bigger than the rocks. It turns out in Spinal Tap, it was an actual scale model of Stonehenge. They pretended like they were tiny, but it wasn't. It was actually real life scale. There's a picture of the highway. I mean, the highway runs right by these things. The before times did not care about anything. It was amazing. It was an amazing time to be alive. I just wish we weren't still trying to live in it now. So hey, we've made it a little farther around. As it spirals around, you get a little closer and a little closer. And then sometimes I'll do zooms and sometimes I won't. Some of the rocks have fun little holes in them. Some of them have the planks over the top. Sometimes there's just random stones lying around the edges. It is great. Driving past them in ETS. Yeah, the path that you drive past them in ETS, I can now verify that is an actual valid path. They do drive that close to them. There's another good zoom. And look, we're still moving around. And we're walking. And we're walking. And we're walking. I had to be sure to get every single picture, every single angle. Oh, it's hurting my heart how badly OBS is destroying these pictures. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come to every single person's house in order to show you these on my phone at least. Although my good iPad will actually do HDR really well. Maybe I'll bring my iPad so you can get a little bigger look at them too. So this is just before we make the turn to actually get close to them. And I got a part of the picture of the midwinter sunset sign. I might have a full picture of it coming up. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, a super zoom on the midsummer or midwinter sunset sign. Apparently the rocks all have names, I guess. Yeah. I guess it's Mr. Sarson Circle, for example, up there. There's the better view of the sign. If you want to read it, I don't know, take a screenshot, look at it later. Do that on your own time. I only got 42 minutes till I got to raid Dan. There's the top of the ice cream truck. Most of the time it had a line of about a dozen people out in front of it. I managed to catch it from over here when it's a real short line, just so you could see more of the truck, and then more of the rapeseed and some burial mounds, and there's all kinds of everything in this photo. And so here we're getting closer to the rocks. My goal was to get a picture of some rocks, some people on the path all the way through, and then a little bit of the highway. I thought it was a little strange that the tour bus turned off before you could get to this point, and it does 3 sides of the rectangle to get to the parking area rather than just coming down the highway and then making a quick right turn and parking right there. It's because everyone in a tourist vehicle who's trying to get here is in that line. And everyone who's just trying to drive by this place is also in that line fighting with all of the tourists who are trying to turn into the parking area. So that piece of highway is a parking lot. I suspect it probably would have taken us 3 or 4 times longer to drive the one leg of the rectangle than the 3 to get around. So there's also a traffic is terrible here picture. The ice cream truck did not play music. I am sorry to say there's probably a law against that on the park grounds here. So we're getting up closer, and I got a little farther away, and then there's another picture, some more pictures. There's a picture of another one of those little rocks that's just sitting out there in the field. They seem to think it was important. I'm sure it was. Also, I got the ice cream truck in the picture. You'll notice the crowd has grown again out there. I think this is the closest point you can get to these here rocks. Look how gorgeous they are, everybody. Don't touch them. I can zoom to pretend like I'm closer, though. That one, the picture does okay. The blue of the sky is way bluer than is coming through, but at least the rocks, they're a little washed out, but you get the good detail on the modeling on them. Probably the most important detail. We're still going. We still got rocks. We still got rocks. And now we're walking away, but I took a quick picture back up at the rocks because I realized the first picture that I'd taken as you were getting close, they were obscured by the trees in the background, so I took this one. There was one security guy in this entire place, and he was standing just opposite the walkway at that closest point to the rocks. So the moment you stepped on grass, he would have been coming for you. That's the only place they had any security, any visible security set up in the entire park there. I'm pretty sure if you had a chisel in hand, he would not wait for you to touch grass. Yeah, the emphasis there would definitely be on visible security. At this point, actually, we are back on the bus. So this is as close as the highway gets to the stones. You get a pretty decent view at them from right there in your vehicle. You don't actually need to bother going in at all. No one needs to stop. And the traffic is so bad that you go by so slowly that you get a good look. That's all you really need. And if you zoom with the camera a little bit, you get a perfect shot. My tour rocks. And so here we are. We are back at, this is labeled as Albertopolis, if you say so. This might have been near Victoria. We were told that the bus coming back would not drop you off at the same place that we were picked up, which was news to everybody on this bus. But as it so happens, it actually dropped you off about a half a mile from Harrods, which Master Jedi wanted to go see. That is a story in and of itself coming up shortly. And then just as we were about to get dropped off where no one wanted to be dropped off, he said, oh, actually, I just got notified from somebody. I am stopping here to let anybody off who wants to. But then, yeah, we are going back to where we started. So there were only about 6 of us that got off here. And then everybody else took the bus back to where it originally started, because that was closer to the core of downtown. But over here, we were near Harrods. So that's kind of the museum district. So this is going to be one of the museums. I don't remember one of them being called Albertopolis, but that's what this says. Never a fan of Jedi Rocks? Well, maybe if you bought my album, you would like it better. We're walking our way toward Harrods, and this was one of the most awesome things we saw. Someone yarn bombed a post box with a David Attenborough 100th birthday celebration capper with Sir David and all of his little animal friends. Absolutely loved this thing. Master Jedi has about 9 pictures of it too. I think this is the only one that I added in. But yes, they yarn bombed the hell out of this box. Vandalism. Yeah, well, in the UK there probably is that law against it. Is this Harrods? This might be Harrods. I don't know. All these buildings look alike. If I look at it, yeah, if I look at it in iPhoto rather than on OBS, I can actually see the label. I didn't take any pictures inside because holy crap, was that place ever in? It was insanity inside there. Damn it, we do have one photo. Master Jedi took one photo while we were inside. We took it for Urgent Sandwich. It was a crystal Hello Kitty. I'm going to try to not spill my coffee that I've been holding this whole time. It was about this tall. It was bigger than my head. 28,000 pounds. So $40,000 for some sort of crystal Hello Kitty. It had a few colors in it. It was delightful. I'm sure it was super fancy. And you are an enemy of the people if you just casually drop that much money on a piece of junk like that. So, chump change for some of you. We could have afforded it, but we spent all of our money on this vacation instead. So we had to pick and choose what we wanted. So anyway, there's a unicorn and some sort of creepy lion dude dancing on a fence that looks almost like a gate, but it's probably not. So that's probably why I took that picture. The baggage limitations. If I'm able to get to our flight to Dublin here. We'll have a baggage limitation story. There's a bus. I figured that was my one good chance to take a good picture of a classic, well, actually I guess this would be a modern English double-decker bus. A couple of the classic double-decker red buses went by. Holy pants, are those things noisy as hell. I'm happier with these hybrid, mostly electric, new fancy boys. Way quieter. Gertrude Jekyll is a rose. At this point, we were making our... This is us actually walking to a place where we had dinner, Fish and Chips place. This is just some little neighborhood park.
This is Marleybone.
Somewhere near Marleybone. Master Jedi is giving this tour now. And so I took a picture of these. Then since I took a picture of the sign, I figured, oh yeah, I should probably get a picture of the flowers to go with it. They were just starting to bud, but it was also kind of cold, but not rainy yet here. So they were just starting to bud. They look like the picture of the one on the sign. So yeah, that's close enough. So here we are. They have a very dangerous gazebo there. I kept an eye on it the whole time just to be sure it never attacked us. And look, that's me. I don't know why I'm making that face. I couldn't tell you. I may be critical of the statue person in the background. You appreciate my addition to the shoddy tour? Good, because that's the best that I got. I got 1,000 pictures and piss poor memory of what any of them were about. But this one is going to... Also, you can tell that we were fairly freshly off the flight. So I'd recently lost the first round beard. This has butt in the name, so I took its picture. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend like there's any other reason I took this picture. This was a super fancy bookstore. This was kind of a bookstore mecca for Master Jedi. Lots of really good online pictures. Actually look pretty much just like this one. For a small change of pace, I didn't take a terrible picture. But, you know, it's books. There's the Marleybone in Marleybone. We didn't go in there. We did go in here. It's called the Golden Hind. This is the one and only time someone actually brought us a glass of ice. We didn't even ask for it. We just asked for the bottle of still water. But someone in back must have said, oh, Americans, they probably want ice water for some reason. So here, give them some glasses with ice in it. So we got it. You know someone who works at that bookstore? What's the name of the bookstore, Master Jedi?
Durant's.
Durant's is the name of the bookstore. You really do know someone who works there? That's kind of impressive. So yeah, this is the one and only time we actually had ice served to us there. I knew from my parents' prior experience, really not to bother asking, but it was a fancy bookstore. So here we are, the Golden Hind. If you were on my computer, you could read the Golden Hind very easily. OBS is ruining everything and flooding out. That's fine, whatever. Oh, we're just going to skip this picture. It's ruined. This is Waterloo Station, by the way. This would be the next morning. We're actually going to visit one of Master Jedi's friends here. Well, we've got a name for her. I guess I probably shouldn't dox her. But here it's English, her name. There it was just her name. So we were on our way to go see her. So we're going to take an intercity train rather than a typical light rail or something. So here's a train station. We're at Waterloo. Everything's pretty. Look at all those trains everywhere. This is us on the train. Apparently no one else wanted to go to this little podunk area, so we started on this train by ourselves. So I had to get some empty train pictures. I love empty train pictures. Oh, works at Waterstones in Piccadilly. We went to one Waterstones, and then we went to two foils, which it turns out are just Waterstones with candy wrappers on them.
They're all owned by foils or Waterstones.
Yeah. So this is the stop at Richmond. So this is where Ted Lasso happens. So that's why I had to take a picture of it. Why I got more picture of the Sky promo than I did of the Richmond sign, I don't know, but I corrected it. Now I have a little bit of Sky promo and a little more Richmond sign. The train did stop here, but we didn't get off because Ted Lasso has started filming season 4, but is not ready yet. So see it, say it, sorted. We heard that over and over and over and over again on all of these trains. I had to take a picture of it. Also, you have to text them this really crazy number to tell them when something suspicious is going on in order to get it sorted. But just in case I ever needed it, I'm good to go. This is Master Jedi's friend. I did get a picture of their ear. Hopefully that won't dox them too much. But I loved their layout in their vehicle here. Interestingly, you will note those 3 pop vinyls on their dashboard, they were all mounted at the exact same time. 2 of them have gotten flushed and are bone white from the UV. But the third one, I think the third one is Star-Lord. He's fine. But the other 2 apparently were not UV protected during their constructions. So I was very entertained by that. But yeah, there was a lot going on the dash. I loved it. I think this was just to prove that there were a bunch of Starbucks there. We didn't go to a single one. Close to the end of the trip, I finally said, maybe I would. I've got money on my Starbucks card. Let's see how they do about converting, dollars to either pounds or euros, whichever airport I was in at the time. It'll be fun just to have that little keepsake on my account history. And the first thing I noticed when I looked at the counter was, we don't take Starbucks card, so screw them. Didn't go to a single Starbucks. That's like that's the big raceway at Ascot. So a couple of times a year, that's where royalty shows up, and this little town floods with people all trying to get close to the royals, like they're going to get anything out of that. And then they have a bunch of horse races. All of the rest of the time, this town is empty, but they have this giant ass race course in the middle. So I took a picture of it. And then a Warhorse Memorial. Oh yes, this friend of Master Jedi's, this is the one that was able to regale us. One of those who was able to regale us with stories of, once upon a time no one cared about anything and you could mess with those rocks all you wanted. Also, I did accidentally manage to get a picture of a few more rocks here. I'm sure I'll find more. That's a picture of a fence and some greenery. Look. More greens. I'm going to hazard a guess. This is me saying, hey, look, we're finally out of London proper. I'm also not on the bus, so I'm not getting pictures of not the city that have window frames and things in them. Although, I'll point out this picture does have a little bit of a window frame in it, but at least it's only a little bit. So I'm taking some pictures of countryside. That's what I'm doing. And then this was a Birch Hill. I think the name of the park was Birch Hill Park. I got a story about it that if I told it, it would still be meaningless. So I'm going to skip that park. It's a local park there. It had particular meaning to the friend that we were visiting. So that's why we hung out here. Very pretty park. We had lunch here. It was really nice. Look. And then I took a picture. I took a picture of a tabletop mayonnaise bottle that looked like it had been sitting in the sun for about a week. This story I can relate. One of my father's first trips to England as part of a work trip, he got really bad food poisoning because he ate a sandwich that had mayonnaise just like this on it. It had clearly gone bad. No one seemed to care, including him, and he got really sick from it. So I mainly took this picture just for my family, but I'm sharing it with all of you because it's a funny, gross story. I thought it was a gear knob. Yeah, could be. And then, in honor of Miss Moon, I took a picture of some Jaffa cakes. I've had Jaffa cakes here in Portland. Real Jaffa cakes imported from England, as opposed to the weird Jaffa cakes that you can buy off of Amazon if you want. So I didn't actually buy these. I took a picture of them. I will point out, it's a spoiler for later, I did get a hobnob later on. Yeah, there's the Jaffa cakes. Also, here in Portland, they had... This would have been like March or April. I put a picture up on Miss Moon's Discord where they had some like old leftover Christmas Jaffa cakes. I put it up And then I tried to let everyone know that those aren't the ones that I got. I got the real imported ones around the corner. But everyone freaked out and said, no, don't get those. Those are terrible. Well, yeah, obviously, because they're already 4 months past their season. But also, yeah, I believe it. They're terrible. Here's all of the fun. You can't find these flavors in America. Roast chicken, smoky bacon. I wish we had. Nowhere that I looked did they have all dressed. So Canada, you're still mostly safe. The all dressed that Lay's has started doing in the US is a crap reproduction, and they only do it on the flat Lays. They do it on the ruffles, so it's pointless. Don't even bother anybody. Get yourself to Canada to get the good all dressed. But otherwise, they had some pretty fun flavors. The Heinz tomato ketchup, though, I'm not down with the ketchup flavors. Canada and the UK can keep those. Although, to be fair, I didn't actually try one. I don't plan on it. The Worcestershire flavor, I would have tried, but Master Jedi was balking on that one, so we didn't get any of those either. There's a picture of a place over there. Let's see, this is on the South Bank, so this wouldn't be far from where the hotel was, but I don't know what the building that is. There's another. This is a picture at London Bridge. I guess that's the bridge over there. You just can't see anything. That's Tower Bridge. That one I remember. We walked a ways to get to Tower Bridge because every time we caught a bus, it would decide it was done after taking us just one stop. So we finally hustled our way down here. Look at that. It's a bridge. It's for the tower. Tower London's on the other side. I might have remembered to get a picture. I think I actually have a couple of videos that got included. There's a big fancy ship. I just liked that ship, so I took a picture of it. And there's a more distant view of that same ship from the bridge. Here's the bridge. I hope you liked rocks, because now you're getting pictures of this bridge. Pretty blue railing all over the place. I really like that boat. Wait, look at a button for that. That was a quiet button. Do a better one. There you go. Nope, that's not a better one. But at least it's louder. So we're getting closer to the bridge. You like this bridge, right? Because we're getting some bridge. That may have been Master Jedi's arm right there. So maybe I had to take the picture a second time. Where do those stairs go? They go up. You can pay for a tour of the bridge if you want to go inside. That didn't happen. There's a better picture of the Shard. No pole in the way, and I just barely managed to get that crane out of the way. And you said you... Yeah, I think the Worcester chips, the Worcester crisps, I think they would have been good. I have a very small regret that I didn't try any, but I'll have another chance someday. I'm probably going to have to break this into a two-parter. We got only 20 minutes till Dan, and we haven't even gotten to Scotland yet. I've got more pictures of Scotland than of England. Scotland was by far my favorite part of the trip. Were we to go back anytime soon, it would 100% be a Scotland trip. Yes, they're crisp. I was pretty good about chips, crisps, cookies, biscuits throughout, but I found just enough exceptions to the rule while we were there that I started to get a little sloppy with it toward the end. The one that finally just blew me out of the water is when there were a bunch of storefronts that sold cookies. When they were clearly selling biscuits inside, but they had cookies listed on the outside of the building, and my brain just couldn't handle doing all that translation back and forth anymore. Yeah, well, yeah, and then that's the weird going the other way thing. Even here, it's fish and chips. No one calls it fish and fries. Why don't they? I don't know. It's because it's fish and chips. But then you get over there, I'm going to say it was even more than a third of the time, not quite, somewhere between 33 and 50% of the time, they would still call them fries. I even saw a couple places that called them French fries. And then the rest of the places called them chips. It was so inconsistent. It really made me angry. Yeah, Master Jedi and I, we would totally be down for another Scotland trip. I would even kind of come very close to recommending flying to Heathrow and then taking the train to Edinburgh again, because it was awesome. And in order to get from the airport to the train that goes to Scotland, you have to take at least one, maybe even two other trains. So there's a whole bunch of train stuff involved, which might suck with big luggage, but also it's not a real thing happening yet. So we'll worry about that some other day. By the way, here's some more doors into the bridge if you want to pay the money. I didn't, so we're moving on. Theoretically, if you paid for the tour, you could probably walk across the pedestrian access up there. Didn't. Moving on. The bridge does lift. If I put the two videos that I got, we on our way back, we were trying to make a certain bus by a certain time, but we got caught with the bridge lift, just like it was Portland. So I've got video of the bridge going up and then some video of the bridge going down. I think I may have those in here. I have a ton of videos that I shot, but I've tried to filter them all out of this first pass. I'm 100% going to have to continue this next week with Scotland and Dublin. So I may see about trying to filter in some more video, especially the parade in Edinburgh. I think I got video of almost every entry. There weren't any floats. There were pipers and there were dancers and there were a few other things. I got video of almost all of that. I think I cut all of it out for my quick thing, but I'll have time to put some of those back in. Seen a few documentaries of the lift mechanism. I think almost all lift mechanisms are very cool in the way that they work. So I got more pictures of the bridge. There's the actual Tower of London. What I got out of the tour is that, yeah, you can't really see them from here, but the towers themselves, there are 4 core towers around. 3 of them are kind of round domes. They were for the cool people. 1 of them is squared off, and that was the prison tower. So that's the one you don't want to be of. That might be the one that you can see right next to the trees. And that's the best I'm going to remember. And that's probably half wrong. So you're welcome. This is us turning around. It turns out either end of the bridge, there's these stairs. These stairs go down. I was wondering if that was like tour stuff or if that led to, yes, that's how you got to the lift mechanisms for tours or anything. It just turns out either end of the bridge, there is the walkway along the riverfront that goes underneath. It's not like a walkway right on the water's edge. It actually comes away from the water and then runs underneath the bridge extension over here. So that's how you get down to the waterfront walkways. Here we're coming back, and my first thought was, wait, there's still people going across, but that light's red. If that light's red, why haven't the people stopped going yet? And then B, does that mean the bridge is gonna lift? We're gonna miss our bus, but do I get a bridge lift? And then that dude wheels out a gate, and I start to get excited. And I'm also noticing there's that white van that still hasn't moved on the other side because traffic is so bad that the dude's just sitting on the bridge hoping that he gets off before it lifts. Lucky for them, it took forever. I'm waiting for the bridge to lift, so I got another picture of the Shard. And then they finally wheel out the second gate. You're going to notice all of these bicycles gathering up. If I got the video included, you're going to love it. So here we go. The bicycles and the little motorcycles and the mopeds no longer care about lane directionality because there's no cars coming over from the other side. So we're just going to flood both lanes from this side. This is whom we lift the bridge for. He's got that nice tall mast with an adorable little flag on top. He would absolutely not have fit otherwise. There is the bridge up. It looks... Oh, yeah, wait, this one has video. You can see the button. Hang on. Let me come down here and click the play button. Boom, playing it. HDR. Oh, this is the better one. Everyone's getting super antsy because they see the bridge going down. All of these bikes start lining up. Sorry, they're queuing up. Oh, hey, come back. Come back. Come back. The video crapped out. Let me get it back. Just open it slow. It does not like playing backwards. We're gonna shortcut a little bit. Here we go. We're gonna both frames. Okay, we'll screw that. So here we are. Now we're going to walk back across. I hope you enjoyed my PowerPoint presentation today. But yeah, there was a full-on joust happening because both sides of the bridge had bikes and motorbikes lined up all the way across both lanes, and they just floored it straight at each other. I know why I took this picture. This dude got I don't care about his license plate, but his taxi license right below. This dude got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I checked a bunch of other cabs just to see, hey, is that the same thing for everybody? Nope. This is it. This is the guy. He got 1 through 6 straight through, and I just happened to be alongside him at one point. What are the odds? This is King's Cross Station. We are apparently at the point where we're about ready to go get the train to Edinburgh. The big red one across there. We kept calling it Pancreas Station because the name was close and that was funny, so we just went with it. It's oh good. I have it here in iPhoto. It's Pancras Station. It turns out the hotel that we were at, there was a train station just across the street if we'd wanted to drag our luggage over there. That train station and Pancreas Station here connect. We could have taken a train here, and then you walk across the street to King's Cross Station, and then this is where we get the main train that goes up to Edinburgh. But we were not entirely clear on that. This was the only transfer that wasn't covered by our vacation package. And after the fact, we figured it's actually because you could have just literally walked across the street, caught a train for $10 max. Actually, I think it would have even been less than that to get to that station. Then you walk over to this one, so you didn't need a car to drive you around like we did. Every airport we had involved, we got private car transportation. So fancy. Once again, a package we never would have purchased just casually on our own. But thanks to Master Jedi, we got the whole hog treatment. So this one we actually we took an Uber and we got dropped off here. And then because it was the super fancy package, we had first class rail tickets. So we got to sit in a first class lounge like fancy super posh people to wait on this train. We got a selection of biscuits and teas and coffees. And a whole bunch of these plants to try to break up sight lines. There we go. Oh, this is probably the most important part of the entire trip. This is our traveling companion, Miles. That was his name from the factory. I mean, from birth. His birth name was Miles. But he is our travel companion. He has almost as much miles on him as we do at this point. He has been all the way from the South Island of New Zealand to the Midlands of Scotland now. So we get a picture of him every country we go through. So this is his England photo. Actually, I'm almost positive Master Jedi's photo dump has one of him at Big Ben. This is the one that I got. Enjoying one of our special treats, the oat crumble with ginger, was incredible. The other thing we learned, Master Jedi bought a couple of cookbooks. That's her jam. She'll buy cookbooks for every new location that we go to. We learned that stem ginger in the U.S. is just candied ginger. So that's what's in the oat crumbles there. No, this one is not rice filled. This is an oatmeal cookie with candied ginger in it. There you go. I did the translation for you. Congratulations. So this was my one picture with Miles. We got Miles at, it wasn't a full truck stop, but it wasn't just a gas station. It was one of those in between. It might have been like a Flying J on the western slope in Colorado. We were going out to, it was probably one of those trips where we were going to terminate the lease on one of my Forerunners and get another one in Denver and then visit my mom when we were there. So we stopped for gas at this place. Miles just jumped out at us, and then once Master Jedi saw his name, decided that, yep, this is our new travel companion. And that was 10 years ago, at least. I know that we were in Portland, living in Portland at the time, so it was minimum 10 years ago. And we have carted him around ever since. Oh, the traveling companion, is he filled with something rice-like, or is he just like a cotton batting?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, now that you ask explicitly,
He might.
I
don't know.
want to think he's a heavy cotton batting, but I know what you. Yeah, he's not one of those kinds you can put in the microwave to keep nice and warm for sticking in your pocket.
He's like a stuffed.
But I'm gonna think he's just got a heavy batting stuff. So sorry if that's a letdown. Used to buy stuffed animals with Jaded Tempest kid when you travel, till I was told she had too many and had to stop. Yeah. Started taking with me. There you go. Yep, you got to have a travel companion. I know a lot of people who've had gnomes. Master Jedi may even have had a gnome at one point. Probably still has it, but Miles is our primary travel companion now. And so, here we are. We have gotten on the train. We're still in England, so these pictures go in my England album. Not that she had anything against you even remotely before, but you have found another inn to Master Jedi's heart with the travel companion there. So that's just us sitting on the train. I think we must have just, oh, geez, the HDR just kicked in. And so I could actually watch it in OBS go a little nuts too. Oh, nope, I do not like that. I do not like that at all. For part 2 of this stream it's probably going to be next Saturday. I probably don't want to do this on Thursday. So next Saturday, I am going to look at turning off HDR temporarily in iPhotos to see if I can make it stop ruining all of my pictures for everybody. So there's some green stuff. Oh, it's starting to kill me. It's starting to kill me with the way it's doing this now. So there was pictures of green stuff. Now it's just all white. This seems to have done better. We're going to get a whole bunch of seeds. This train had 2 stops on the way to Edinburgh. Yes, I will say that every single time. This first one was in York, so I took a picture of it. If you want this train, if you want to get on this train at one of these stops, you need to be ready to move, because this train does not stop for long at any of these spots. So there's another picture of the York sign, just in case. It's probably Middle York. It's not new. It's not old. It's meh York. There's a picture. There's a bunch of other rails over there. There's a electrical substation. Probably it. Maybe for these two, I was trying to get a picture of typical country-looking housing, except I picked the point where we're going through all kinds of rail yard junk, so I keep getting rail yard junk in the picture too. That just makes it authentic. And so here we finally patched the rail yard junk almost, except for the stuff that's still in the picture, and also it's now mostly past, so this is why these are uncurated. There's a bunch of sheep. I mean, we're passing through the English countryside. You know there's going to be sheep. This is Newcastle upon Tyne. This is our second stop, Newcastle. I think this is kind of the first looks like a city that we pulled in. So yeah, just took a picture. Other weird note, because we got first class ticket packages, we actually had assigned seats on this line. For some reason, I am at a table of 4, there was a couple across from me, and there was some rando dude who should have been in this seat right here next to me. Master Jedi got a seat across the aisle. It was a solo seat by herself. It wasn't even two people facing each other. It was just a seat by herself. I guess, lucky for me, rando dude here decided there was a solo seat somewhere farther up the train that he thought he would be allowed to just move to so he could sit by himself. So he wandered off. So I had the seat I had the seat to myself, just not the whole table. Master Jedi enjoyed having a seat to herself, so she stayed over there by herself. So I got 2 seats to myself. I don't think the couple across from me and I said a single word to each other. Screw those people. No one liked them anyway. But that's why I was able to get pictures out the window without having to lean around people all the time. So here we are. We've stopped in Newcastle. I hear the Dan servo machine warming up, so this is almost perfect timing. This is stop number 2. If you want on this train, you had best be ready to move, because bam, we are back out in the vicinity of Widrington Village. I'm taking a picture of the grass because there's a bunch of grass. Oh, look at that. There's actually some trees here in the vicinity of Grant's house. Look, there's some more trees. Maybe a building up there in the background. Maybe, maybe not. Probably the same building, probably the same trees, but now there's this clump of dead branches also. Guess it's a good idea to get a picture of some dead branches. Different shade of green. This one looks a little better tended. East Linton Markle. So for those of you keeping track at home, if you want to map the route of this train. And then we get a little farther north and we are back into heavy rapeseed territory. You make, was it canola oil? Canola, yeah, canola oil comes from this. If you're into farming sim, you probably already know this. I can't remember it. But it's a nice, vibrant yellow, so I tried to get a bunch of pictures when I could. I thought, hey, let me snap a quick second picture because I love that yellow. Bam. There's a tree in the way, but it's a nice, well-rounded tree. So probably keep that one. And then we're waving goodbye to the pretty yellow because we're back to the green. Snap, 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 snap. Action pictures. And then this is all brown. Nothing's actually growing in this one yet. Also, again, if you're familiar with Farm Sim, you probably recognize that. And then at this point, we cross the border into bonnie Scotland. And since I have spent all of this time, they have the bright yellow in northern Idaho. Yeah, there's bright yellow. There's a bunch of bright yellow in a bunch of different places. Nebraska had a bunch of weird yellow, but then it all turns brown when you get into the fall, and then they harvest it, and that ends up ending the fun right there. But this is the end of the England portion of the vacation, and apparently it looks like everyone's just going to have to come back next week to get part 2 in Scotland. I won't be able to. I just won't spend as much time complaining about the crap happening at my work next week, so we'll get started a little bit earlier. I think I've been holding this for an hour, and that's the first time I've taken a sip. I went to see a bridge, 3 colors, and a stack of rocks. Don't forget the stack of rocks. I've got yeah, there you go. And a selection of stones. Exactly. That was the first part of the trip. See, this vacation package, they didn't just have a go to your Scottish homeland package. No, you had to spend 5 days in England first, and you had to spend 4 days in Dublin afterward. But I got to pick my preferred time for the train transfer, so we picked the second earliest train window in the morning. So we got to Scotland as early as we could. And then, although not the plan, we didn't fly out of Edinburgh until 8:30 at night. So we almost got an entire 6, pushing 7 days worth in Scotland. So that part worked out nicely. And then we had to go deal with Dublin for a while. Dublin was really nice, but at that point, I was physically so tired. I would have enjoyed it more if it had been flipped around the other way, I think. But nothing was going to compete with Scotland. Scotland was the absolute best. That's the best teaser I can come up with to make you rejoin me next week when we get to that section of things. I gotta check a button I gotta check a couple buttons to make sure that we are good for the Dan Servo raid, because I hear his sound, but his face isn't up yet. Nope. Oh no, it's trying to recommend a bunch of things that aren't Dan. There comes Dan Servo's face. Perfect timing. So next Saturday, we're going to do the Scottish part of things. This is going to give me the opportunity to fix HDR and iPhotos so that the pictures are going to come through much better on stream. And it will also allow me to kind of scrub through a bunch of the video that I've got from Scotland. I'm going to get that added in, so it's going to make that part of the album even better. And then the Dublin album is shorter than the English one. That might be a part 3. So what I'm going to do instead is on Thursdays, I'm going to be playing Octopath Traveler. So I'm going to try to get to that end of the end of that game before Elliot comes out mid-June. I think it's the 15th of June, give or take. Because Sea of Saturdays is going to Elliot as soon as that game is out. And then we'll see where Octopath ends up. Dan is wearing I thought he was wearing a t-shirt. I was about to have a heart attack. Dan is wearing a short sleeve dress shirt. So that's better. We're gonna go with that. I think we can work with that. So let me set my coffee down so that I can give everyone an appropriate wave. Calling Dan Face. Dan Face, are you there? We'll be right there. So yeah, Dublin may be a stream 3. We'll see where we get through next week. I'll yammer a little less. I'll Scotland a little more. We'll see how it goes. This Thursday, more Octopath. Next Saturday, at least Scotland. And I think that's going to catch us. Let me play you a little music. Let me get this started. There it is. Thank you very much, Sirenscape. I am going to click the button to start the raid. That's going to get the countdown going. And I will see everyone again, maybe Thursday, definitely Saturday. Bye.